What I am about to reveal to you is not comfortable, but it is necessary. Because all deep healing passes, at some point, through the face of the one who gave us life. And that face, at times, is not only tenderness. Sometimes it is shadow. Sometimes it is wound. Like Carl Jung, I dedicated my life to the study of the human psyche. And I discovered that a huge part of our emotional suffering has its root in the unconscious relationship with the mother. Healing is not blaming her. It is understanding her, and, above all, understanding what her image left imprinted on your soul. From the first breath, the maternal figure becomes the first universe, the breast that nourishes, the body that protects, the voice that comforts. But it is also the first law, the first limit, the first judgment. The mother is the first mirror where the self begins to form. And what we see there is not always unconditional love. Sometimes it is demand, it is fear, it is lack, it is need disguised as devotion. And since we do not yet have a formed self, we do not distinguish between what we are and what she projects onto us. That is how the original wound is born. Many adults live without knowing that they carry inside themselves an internalized mother that does not let them grow, a voice that judges every mistake, that demands perfection, that blocks spontaneity. That internal mother is not your real mother, but the psychic image that your unconscious created from what you lived, felt, and perceived. Until you revise that image, you will be trapped. You won't be able to love freely, nor create, nor trust, nor inhabit your own skin. I will tell you a difficult truth. Even the most loving mother leaves wounds, not out of malice, but because every mother is also a woman with her own unhealed story, with her traumas, her voids, her fears, and many times, without knowing it, she unloads onto her children what she could not integrate within herself. The son or daughter becomes a receptacle for what she cannot bear to see. This unconscious transfer creates a bond loaded with expectations, frustrations, and sometimes silent resentment. When I worked with patients for years, I saw this pattern repeat itself. Men who chose authoritarian partners because they unconsciously sought the love they didn't feel from their mother. Women who erased themselves to please because they learned from girlhood that only by being good would they be loved. Adults who sabotaged themselves over and over because an inner part told them they were not enough. That part had their mother's voice. Healing is not breaking with your mother. It is freeing her inner image. It is seeing her as human, as someone who did what she could with what she had. It is allowing the maternal figure inside you to evolve, because as long as you keep seeing her as a goddess or as an enemy, you will remain her child, and your soul is asking to grow. It is asking to become an adult, and for that, you need to say goodbye to the child who waits for his mother to save him. There is something you must understand. Many mothers did not know how to love, not because they didn't want to, but because they didn't know how. They too were wounded girls. They too waited for something that never came. If you don't make that cycle conscious, you will repeat it. Healing the mother wound is to stop asking life to repair what your mother could not give you. It is to take on that internal role yourself, to be your own mother, to learn to care for yourself, to validate yourself, to comfort yourself, to set loving boundaries, to hold yourself when everything hurts. That is psychic maturity. But to get there, you first have to go through grief. The grief for the idealized mother, the one who never failed, the one who knew everything, the one who was always there, because that mother does not exist. And when you let her go, the real journey begins. You enter the dark night of the soul. You face the void, the fear of being alone. But it is only a step. Behind the void comes the rebirth. The soul begins to organize itself from a new place, no longer from lack, but from choice. Once you free the distorted image of your mother, something sacred happens. You can see her with new eyes, see her wounds, her attempts, her fatigue, and at the same time, you see your own limits, what you need to protect, what you will no longer accept. This is not coldness, it is conscious love, love rooted in truth, love that no longer needs emotional slavery. You will never heal until you understand this about your mother, that she didn't come to complete you, she came to initiate you. She was the beginning, not the whole. She was the portal through which you entered the world, but the path is yours. The soul did not come to repeat stories, it came to transcend them. And that is only possible when you stop looking backward, hoping for repair, and begin walking forward, building your identity. If you still feel anger, sadness, emptiness, or guilt towards her, don't suppress them. They are part of the process. But don't stay there. Use those emotions as beacons. They will show you the parts of yourself that are still trapped in an unresolved childhood. True freedom is not forgetting your mother. It is integrating her. It is saying inwardly, thank you for what you gave and for what was missing. And from now on, I take responsibility for myself. The soul heals when it can look at its story with compassion without ceasing to set boundaries, when it can honor without idealizing, when it can love without chaining itself. That is the alchemy. That is the path of the hero. And it begins the moment you realize that your mother was not the source of your power, but the first reflection. The power is in you. It always was. You were just looking in the wrong place. Today I invite you to a profound act of transformation. Look at your mother not with the eyes of your wound, but with the eyes of your consciousness. Ask yourself what you learned, what burdens you took on that don't belong to you, what part of you is still waiting for an apology that may never come, and then decide to live. Not from waiting, from creating, because healing is not changing the past, it is changing your relationship with it. As I once said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are, and no one can become themselves while still waiting for mum to give them permission. Take that permission yourself, enter your soul, and begin to live from your truth. And then, at last, you will heal.